We spent the last 5 episodes laying out the groundwork. In episode 1, I reminded you to start where you stand, to stop waiting for the perfect conditions to build, and to start building with what's already in front of you. In episode 2, we talked about the business of being you, the idea that your identity is currency and that your self-awareness is your first and biggest investor. By episode 3, we declared how you are the blueprint and that everything you've been searching for already lives within your own self and design. By episode 4, we cracked open what vulnerability is and how it can be used as strategy in connecting with your audience and opportunity. By episode 4.5, we broke down what that kind of looks like in action. In our last episode, episode 5, we talked about the separation of inspiration from imitation, learning how to draw influence without losing the frequency or the awareness of self. Those 5 episodes were about foundation, the foundation of mindset, energy, emotional architecture, and now we're going to pivot from that internal to the external. This next phase is about the application. It's about giving form to what you feel, the manifestation piece, taking all of the self-work and those pieces of the blueprint and then translating them into something tangible that people can now see, touch, and remember. So today, we're going to step into logo logic, designing the mark that moves people. We are going to talk structure, we are going to talk symbolism, and just about some of the small details that turn something from just an idea into an idea that's iconic. Because at this point, your purpose already has pulse, as we've been building in the last episodes. Now it's time to give it a face. This is Mel Code. Hello world. Welcome back to another episode of Mel Code. I am your host, Stefan Amir, aka Steph Mel, and I'd like to welcome you again to another week. All right. I'm really excited about this week in this episode because this is the first episode where we are actually shifting from more of the internal work, the mental work, into more of the physical work. Okay, this episode is going to shift from mindset into making, focusing on the craft of logo creation, learning how to brainstorm, how to test, and how to refine those ideas to not only what looks good, but what communicates with who at first glance. Okay. A large portion in me wanting to focus on this topic today is I'm currently working on a few different designs for a few different clients, as well as been in the middle of a bit of rebranding with Mel Gear and kind of working on different things and kind of testing them out. And so I figured that considering from where we left off at with the last episode, transitioning over, I feel like since I'm literally going through the process right now, I thought it'd be really cool to kind of share that creative process and then go from there. I may end up breaking it into 2 episodes because I kind of feel like, when it comes to design by itself, that's one thing. And then when you get into colors, it's another spectrum. And so going through this, I may find myself separating into maybe episode 7, focusing on colors, but we'll just see how it goes. All right. Code 1, blueprint before branding. What I mean by this is how to conceptualize your logo before you actually start designing it. Okay. My advice, businesses that are similar or within niche related areas, I would say research 3 to maybe 5 brands structure, not the style, but the structure. Okay. For example, if you are a car company and you are about transporting and picking up people or doing deliveries, your logo may want to incorporate an arrow. Think of FedEx. There's an arrow in between the E and the X on the FedEx truck. They're an express delivery company, and so there's an arrow incorporated into their design. Arrows kind of communicate motion, okay? Just like in other things, a circle might convey unity. These things play a role into how a person perceives design. And these things are kind of like ticket items that, kind of play on the mind that you can use to your advantage when creating your logo. Sketch them through hand. Any good designer will tell you sketch first. But you sketch them out by hand first and unlock any creativity before using any kind of designing software. It will really take your ideas and your creativity and add limitations to them based on what it can produce and the mathematical formulas that make law. When you're sketching and doing things by hand, there's limitless ability. And I hope that that makes sense. Those can be refined and redefined later through special software. My last and most important advice is I would recommend to work in black and white first. Okay. If you've ever paid attention to anything I've done with 3ME, it's always starting off with the foundation of black and white. Philosophy is that if it works in black and white, if it works without color, then it can definitely hold itself up with color. Focus on coming up with the actual look itself. Let's move on. Code 2, shape, scale, and symbolism. The idea is to understand design, psychology, and form. That's kind of what I was getting at in our last code. Circles communicate like trust and unity and family. Triangles are more like direction, motion, as I was explaining with the arrow. Squares, they are more so associated with like strength and stability. Different things have different purposes. It's just what it associates with the mind. And using these things to your advantage, going along with your niche, will really help people kind of look at your design and kind of automatically know what you do, or at least have an idea on what you may do. I would say use clean geometry over complex illustrations. Like, I know for me personally, when I'm doing designs and also helping my clients, I prefer simplicity, and I always encourage them in the direction of simplicity. Simple designs leave less room for detail mistakes. You design for scalability, okay? Your logo should be legible from, a small icon on a piece of paper to like blown up on a billboard. It should be legible from a hat to as small as it might be on a business card. When you have these little extra textures and they either get lost or extra distorted, and you don't want that. Then you're going to want to test your logo. You're going to want to test it inverted, meaning black on white and then white on black. Maybe just the outline of it. Maybe you want to change some fonts a little bit. Test it. Explore. Don't limit yourself. Make it make sense. If it's more professional, try to go for more clean-cut lines, letters. If it's more playful, kid-oriented, maybe more bubbled, rounded edges, maybe more appealing. Play with it. Get crafty, get creative. Think about all of the things that your logo may appear on. Take all of these things into consideration. All right. Code 3, finishing touches and file prep. This part is about making your logo production ready, okay? When I first collaborated with my first graphic designer, Jeremy, actually shout out to my boy Jeremy, who actually helped me design the Scatterbrainiac logo as you guys see it today. He went ahead and made sure that in my email I had all of the proper SVG, PNG, PDF files needed for me to be able to take my design wherever I needed to do whatever I was going to do with it. You want to create 3 versions, okay? The full logo. You want the text with the icon, or the icon with the text, okay? That should always be your first one. That's what we call the full. Then you want symbol only. Symbol only is usually what you would put on your merchandise or certain pieces of equipment. Then you want the word mark. Your word mark is literally just the text or the title, separate without the actual symbol. Those are your 3. Then you want to get each of those SVGs, which are your vector art, your PNGs, which are your transparent background, and your PDFs, which are your high resolutions for print. You want to keep them in a folder, master files, labeled, ready to go, okay? And maybe even a user guide if you want to be extra on just which one should be used for where. If you have partners or employees, it might be helpful to just kind of have the folder kind of incorporate which ones are used for what. And then you want to prepare a square and horizontal version as well for all of your digital platforms, because you have banners on YouTube, you have Facebook banners, these things. So you want to have your vertical designs and your horizontal designs. Let's get into the Amir method. Okay, the Amir method, AMIR. Analyze, manifest, implement, reinvent. Analyze. Okay? You want to audit your niche. Remember what I said? You want to pick 3 to 5 of your favorites. Study the science behind them, not the image itself. The science behind the image. What visuals dominate? How could I stand apart? Okay. M, manifest. You want to visualize your identity. Visualize the keywords, the shapes, the motion, the mood. Okay, remember how I mentioned that I would probably end up separating color into a second episode? As that seems to stand true, all of those things can then be further solidified with color. Implement. You want to draft, you want to test, you want to refine multiple iterations of your design until the mark feels right. Okay, you may go through 5, 6, 7, 8, 110 designs, but it's worth it because once you find that right one and you have it, you're locked in. Okay, and then that goes into your reinvent. You want to update and evolve it as much as possible. You want to keep that essence while refining the execution. Okay, your logo isn't just like something that looks dope. It's literally like your business's handshake for meeting people. That's what stands out before they even get to know you. Okay, and so with that being said, I want to make sure that you guys understand when you're creating and have it in mind when you're creating that there are no limitations, but the things that you use do convey messaging. And so I guess with that being said, okay, in the next episode, we can take that same philosophy and turn it up a bitch and apply it to color. That's where we really get into scratching the mood. That's the feeling that makes your logo unforgettable. Okay, so in the next episode, we'll get into decoding that, the psychology of color, looking at how, red pushes energy and blues build trust, black might ground authority, gold are more associated with I don't want to say royalty, but excellence. Okay. And we'll look at all of that. We'll talk about finding the balance, the contrasts, and just kind of following the small visual cues that separate a brand from just looking good into one that feels right. Okay, I want to thank you guys once again for joining me for yet again another episode of Mel Code. I have been having so much fun with this series, so much fun talking to you guys, and also just kind of learning a lot about my own creative process, because sometimes you just do things without thinking about the process behind them, and then actually kind of writing this stuff down is actually helping me see that damn bro, you really do have a process. But yeah, so I really want to again thank you guys for joining me, and I hope this information was helpful. I really hope that all the information in the season thus far has been helpful, and I am looking forward to getting colorful with you guys in the next episode. Okay, again, my name was Stefan Amir, aka Steph Melvin. This was Mel Code, and I am saying peace out. Cheers.